Hey guys, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got some pretty cool things to go over. Some new character hints have dropped for Pokemon Legends EA. We also have some new rumors to go over regarding 3 new Pokemon games coming out in the foreseeable future. A lot of things to break down today, so if you're excited for the video, drop a like down below, leave a comment, subscribe if you're brand new, and let's get into the video. So, starting things off, let's go over these new character hints for Pokemon Legends ZA. So this was a post taken from Soul Silver Art saying we really should have known that Kalos was going to be the next Pokemon Legends game after a Sinnoh game. It was apparently right in front of our faces the whole time. I'd be shocked not to see Sycamore in Pokemon Legends ZA, and how crazy would it be if they paid this off and Rowan was there too. So this is a little bit of a reference taken from Pokemon X and Y. One of the scientists in Sycamore Lab says, I heard that he learned a lot from Professor Rowan in Sinnoh. And when we go to the biography, it says, Professor Sycamore was a student to Professor Rowan 2 years before moving to Kalos. He later studied at the Tower of Mastery in the hopes of learning to wield Mega Evolution, but decided that he was not strong enough and left to become a Pokemon professor. So basically, yeah, Rowan is the sort of mentor to Professor Sycamore. You know, he was his student, and so it'd be kind of cool if, with all these kind of maybe returning characters coming to Pokemon Legends ZA, it'd be nice to see Rowan, because it's a nice little bit of a backstory, especially because, you know, these are 2 professors that clearly do know each other very, very well. Even though Sinnoh isn't near Kalos, it just shows that he could still potentially make a return. I mean, Sycamore's basically in the game anyway. It's all but been confirmed until we see him in a trailer, but obviously with Rowan, I think that'd be kind of nice to see him. It does take place in the future, so it's not anything to worry about in regards to them both not like being alive or whatever. So yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool if Rowan was in the game, but Sycamore pretty much guaranteed to be there. Rowan potentially could be in Pokemon Legends ZA. Moving on, we have a massive rumor to go over today for various new Pokemon games, new Nintendo Switch 2 enhanced updates, loads of stuff to kind of go over. Now, this was posted on 4chan. It's a lot of information as well, so of course take it with a massive grain of salt. It's probably fake, because I'd highly doubt someone would know all this information and then would just kind of like post it on 4chan, because if you did know all of this, you'd probably be pretty high up in terms of Game Freak, and so to drop all this information would just be, it'd be very, very silly. But anyway, take it with a massive grain of salt. Let's see what the latest rumors are saying. So this was posted on the 25th of May saying, okay, let's get the details quickly done over with, even though they're saying quickly done over with and there's about 14 paragraphs. But anyway, says first off, Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield, and Pokemon Legends Arceus will get Switch 2 patches within the console's first year. So Scarlet and Violet were prioritized since they are the most recent games. Detective Pikachu Returns was also planned to have one, but was quickly cancelled due to low sales. So this is saying that Sword and Shield and Legends Arceus both going to get Nintendo Switch 2 update patches, but Detective Pikachu, they were like, no, didn't sell enough, screw it, we're not doing that. I mean, I would obviously love enhanced patches for Sword and Shield and Legends Arceus. I don't think it's going to happen. I think they are going to run better on the Switch 2 anyway, but to get a general update patch for them to run even better, I just think it's really unlikely. The games are kind of oldish now, and if Legends Arceus was going to get one, you kind of expect BDSP to get one as well, and that's not referenced here. So as much as I would love to see update patches for these games, I just think it's very, very unlikely. And then it goes on to say, new Pokemon Snap, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, plus the Paradox files. So improved visuals, of course, alongside HDR support. Mouse controls are added, which I think makes sense for new Pokemon Snap. I think mouse controls would generally be very, very useful for this kind of game, because the whole point of the game is you kind of scrolling around looking for the best sort of photo to take. It goes on to say remixed versions of old levels and are added across the campaign. These levels feature old and new scenarios within them. And then it says 70 Generation 9 and Hisuian Pokemon will be added. So this is a big DLC sort of update as well. I mean, we have had Pokemon Snap DLC before, but this is apparently another one that's going to be kind of maybe exclusive to the Switch 2, I don't really know. Some of them are Sneasler, Hisuian Braviary, Tandemaus, the Paldean starters, Clodsire, Bombardier, Screamtail, Roaring Moon, Iron Hands, and Iron Moth as well. So that's just a collection of some of the mons that we'd be able to see in these new Pokemon Snap levels. And then it says Perrin appears. It says plot reason for these altered levels is at the time Paradox has reached the Lentil Islands for reasons. And then Perrin appears as a new character to introduce you to these levels. and the release date is the 14th of October. So that is a Tuesday, I believe. It's also 2 days before Pokemon Legends EA drops. Now, this was posted, I believe, before the Pokemon Legends EA announcement of the release date and stuff. So, again, it kind of gives it fake vibes, but would they really drop a massive update patch to new Pokemon Snap 2 days before the new Pokemon game comes out when we haven't had a new Pokemon game in years? Probably not. I think it's very unlikely. This could still happen. We do have that July Presents coming up where they could announce anything really. We'll cover that in a bit more detail later on in the video. But yeah, if there was going to be some sort of like new enhancement patch for new Pokemon Snap or DLC or whatever, then it would get announced, and that I cannot see it being released 2 days before the big sort of Pokemon game. It's just very, very unlikely. New Pokemon Snap obviously is like the best looking Pokemon game we've ever had, but again, this release date just a little bit of a red flag in my opinion. So anyway, that is the new Pokemon Snap portion of the rumor. Coming up next, we have the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon portion of this rumor. So this is apparently a new Mystery Dungeon game coming out potentially for the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. It says Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, a reboot mostly taking cues from the Explorers games. It's not developed primarily by Spike Chunsoft, but rather Intelligent Systems. SC still did assist during development. So I don't know. I feel like that's just completely two different companies. Why would they assist them when they'd be working? It's just very unlikely for that to be the case. It takes place in a hinted post-apocalyptic alternate universe where Pokemon live by themselves. I mean, I guess they live by themselves anyway in Mystery Dungeon regardless. Like, there's no trainers around. And then it says some of the locations and general characters are lifted from previous games, but most things are either new or just inspired by prior entries. And then it goes on to say only 5 playable main Pokemon options, being Pichu, Eevee, Sprigatito, Fuecoco, and Quaxley. So that's not great. You know, in the latest kind of Mystery Dungeon games, we've had a lot of playable characters. So to then dumb that down to 5 just doesn't really seem likely. Also, Pichu over Pikachu doesn't really seem legit. Like, fair play, the Gen 9 starters and Eevee. Eevee's a mascot, Pikachu's a mascot. Pichu's not a mascot. I get that Pichu evolves into Pikachu, it's just, I don't know, I'm calling fake on that. Says gameplay will do away with randomized dungeons and overhead view and instead play similarly to Paper Mario with turn-based RPG gameplay mixed with player interaction mid-turn. So this would just be a completely different game then. The whole point of Mystery Dungeon is that it is this sort of like randomized dungeons and you do go around and whatever, every floor is different. But if it's Paper Mario and you've got like turn-based battles and stuff, it just, I don't know, like I guess Mystery Dungeon is quote-unquote turn-based because you attack and then they attack, yada yada yada, but I don't know, for it to completely change to like an RPG gameplay, it's a completely different game. So semi-linear progression. You can still recruit allies from a long list of Pokemon in Wild Encounters, but you'll also have story partners to join you along the way. It says some of these include Grovyle, a single Phalanx, a forgetful Slowpoke, a lone Wishy-Washy, and an Aurorus looking for her daughter. These Pokemon have their own side quest stories that you can take anytime, unlocking through campaign or encountering them. Then it says, originally started development as an Explorers remake, but it was almost prematurely cancelled after the relative poor sales of both Rescue Team DX and later Detective Pikachu 2. I don't think Rescue Team DX sold that badly. I know Detective Pikachu 2 sold very badly, but I don't think Rescue Team DX was that bad. It was given a second chance by higher-ups at Game Freak who saw their pitch of a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon reboot. And then it says release date spring 2026. So would this get announced during this July Pokemon Presents? I don't know. Maybe. Again, maybe something gets announced in that. I personally don't think anything's getting announced apart from this new app that Riddler Coup kind of referenced the other day, because the main thing that they're going to be going over is Pokemon Legends ZA and Pokemon Champions, and then obviously like Pokemon Go, Pokemon Pocket, stuff like that. Like Champions and ZA are the kind of promotion for this year. And then next year, when we get Pokemon Generation 10 revealed on Pokemon Day, that's going to be the kind of main cash cow. But we might get a Champions release date in July, or just kind of more of an idea of when it's coming out. But anyway, that's the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon portion of the video. Coming up next, we have another Pokemon game that is apparently coming out in the near future. This is called Pokemon Tactics. So this is another reboot game. This one is inspired by Conquest, and it's developed by Koei Tecmo. So this takes place in Hisui, a little bit after Legends Arceus. A lot of Legends kind of vibes around this Legends EA release. It says main plot is a war between 3 clans based on the starter types breaking out, while rumors of a void flame slowly engulfing the region. It then goes on to say you'll have to choose a clan after a tutorial, each led by a character resembling the Stralton City gym leaders being Cress, Chili, and Cillian, or Killian. Other important new characters include the generals of each faction resembling Misty, Erica, and Blaine, a traveler from Kalos who poses as a Mega Stone merchant, which is an original creation named Corsa, and a legendary warrior that's not based on any particular prior character but rather on Oba Nobunaga named Nobu. It then goes on to say various characters from Legends Arceus will also appear as NPCs, so it's very much like a Conquest times Legends Arceus game. Gameplay is pretty similar to the first game, but with battle environments playing more of a role, sometimes even begin destructible. You start with an Eevee that you can evolve pretty early on into the evolution matching your chosen kind of clan, and can catch 7 more of them and switch between them when you're about to start a battle. Then goes on to say, Move Mastery returns with every move having a strong and agile style, but the evolutions also have access to bond to their styles for the respective type, increasing damage and effects even further. It then goes on to say, these are unlocked by meeting the myth spirits, so ghosts of people that Nobu met in the past, whose appearance resembles fantastical humanoids. The ones associated with your initial evolution are Obtoa, so Vaporeon/Mermaid, Hao, which is Flareon/Oni, and Juben, which is Leafeon/Dryad. And then it goes on to say release date is summer 2026. Both Mystery Dungeon and Tactics will release for the Switch One with an enhanced Switch edition that includes visual improvements and HDR support and mouse controls for Tactics, though no new content. Again, I don't think they're going to be bringing 2 brand new Nintendo Switch 1 games out. I think from now on, I think most Pokemon games are just going to be for the Nintendo Switch 2. Also, like, spring 2026, summer 2026, like, Generation 10 is the main game that's going to get promoted next year, and that's going to be coming out winter 2026. So, well, autumn 2026, should I say. So for them to release all of these games this year just seems very, very unlikely. But anyway, that's the rumor portion for Pokemon Tactics. Finishing things off, the last part of this rumor goes over a new Pokken game, which is called Pokken Pokemon Tag Tournament. So this is a Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive for consoles. This will release first on arcades in Japan, aiming for early 2026 in that front. So it's developed by Bandai Namco, specifically Studio 1, 2, and S in differing capacities. The battle system will be slightly tweaked. Playable Pokemon I know about are Pikachu, Lucario, Delphox, Chandelure, Decidueye, Incineroar, Tinkaton, Revavroom, Gardevoir, Gallade, Suicune, Tapu Koko, Palafin, Tyranitar, Croagunk, Mr. Mime, Umbreon, Sylveon, Mewtwo, Shadow Mewtwo, Meloetta Aria form, Meloetta Pirouette form, and 2 others I will highlight in a bit. So a lot of returning characters and obviously new characters as well. Some new assist companions are Comfey, Delmise, Weirdeer, Basculin Red and Blue Stripe, Tandemaus, Krabby, and Galarian Farfetch'd. The story mode will have full voice acting and 3D in-game cutscenes, but I know very little about it. The release date is summer/fall 2026. Are they really going to be bringing out Pokemon Tactics and a new Pokken game for summer 2026? Very, very unlikely. Game will be incorporated into the VGC alongside TCG Pocket, with their own tournaments for each starting next year. The Pokemon Company wants the spin-off games to have connectivity with mainline, mostly to bring more value to Pokemon Home. A future update will allow non-Go mobile games to connect and earn medals and Pokemon by performing certain tasks in respective games. Each of the spin-offs will introduce a new Pokemon that can be transferred into champions, and then it goes on to say the Generation 10 games. For the new Snap Switch 2 edition, Illumina versions of Meganium, Wishiwashi, Milotic, Volcarona, Steelix, Xerneas, Dondozo, and Cresselia. And then for Mystery Dungeon, there's going to be a Mega Celebi, which is Psychic Fury. For Tactics, there's a Mega Darkrai, which is Dark Fire. And then for Pokken Tag Tournament, Meloetta Punk form, which is Dark Normal, and Meloetta EDM form, which is Electric Normal. And that's it. I know nothing about Legends EA, and I know absolutely nothing about Generation 10 buy. So it's a mouthful. There's a lot of stuff to kind of unpack here. And this would mean that if none of this is announced in July, that means they would be announcing 3 new games for 2026, along with Generation 10. So that would be 4 new games announced in February's Pokemon Presents, and probably information on Pokemon Champions as well, and potentially an update for Legends EA, because that game potentially has DLC. Now, I get that it's the 30th anniversary, but I don't think they're announcing all of that. I think Generation 10 is going to be the big game they reveal. We might get a spin-off, you know, whether that is Mystery Dungeon or Ranger or Pokken Tournament or Pokemon Tactics, whatever. It's a lot. It's a lot of information. You know, when rumors are this large as well, it's very unlikely to be the case that they're true, because how would someone know all this information and then just go out and post it on 4chan? It's very unlikely. Fair play to whoever made this, because they were clearly writing this for a very long time. There's a lot of inconsistencies. I mean, straight off the bat, the release date of the new Pokemon Snap update patch being 2 days before Legends EA is just a massive red flag anyway. But like I say, I just don't think we're going to be getting 1, 2, 3 games, 4 for Pokemon Generation 10, 5 for Legends EA, 6 for Champions. So that's 6 games from now until like next November. We're not getting that many Pokemon games. It's just way too many, especially after we just had a year of nothing. If they were going to release one of these, they would have released it in that year. Very unlikely to be true, but let me know your thoughts on it. I mean, some of the games sound cool. I would like a new Mystery Dungeon. I'd like a sort of Pokemon Conquest game as well. I'm not really too fussed about Pokken, but either way, let me know your thoughts on all that, and then also the returning character hints as well for Pokemon Legends EA. But anyway, that's everything from me. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. Let's try and hit 500. It does really help out. Leave a comment, like I said, with your thoughts on anything we covered. Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell for daily Pokemon content. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and until next time, peace.